Good morning, students. Today in this lecture talk, I shall discuss introduction to plant tissue culture. First, let us understand what is plant tissue culture, okay, or how to define this plant tissue culture. This plant tissue culture is a technique with which plant cells, tissues, or organs are grown on artificial, static, or liquid nutrient medium under controlled aseptic conditions. Okay. Here in tissue culture condition, we are taking plant cells, tissues, or organs. Okay. Any part of the plant you can take, and that can be grown on a suitable artificial nutrient medium. That may be solid medium or maybe a liquid medium. If you are using liquid medium, we can use the terminology suspension culture. And all these cells, tissues, organs can be inoculated or transferred in the aseptic condition. That is, septic means sepsis, aseptic means absence of sepsis or contamination or any kind of organisms will not be there. Controlled condition. Controlled conditions means here plant cells, tissues which are grown in an in vitro condition. So in the in vitro condition, you are providing the artificial light, temperature that will be in the controlled manner. Okay. So then what is tissue culture, you may ask? The tissue culture is defined as in vitro culture of plant cells, tissues, as well as organs on a suitable nutrient medium. In vitro means in glass, that is inside the glass vessel, and in vivo means in life or living organisms, that is inside the living organisms. Okay. Here in this plant tissue culture, we are using a terminology explant. What is explant? The excised plant portion or bits of leaf, stem, root, or any part of the plant used to start tissue culture is known as explant. So here, what are the cells, tissues, organs will be using? No, that will be known as actually explant. We say here explant inoculation. In the aseptic chamber, we inoculate all these cells, tissues, organs. No. So we can say there explant inoculation. We can also define this plant tissue culture as it is a collection of techniques used to maintain or grow plant cells, tissues, or organs under aseptic conditions on a nutrient medium of known composition. We can give either this definition or this definition. All right. Plant tissue culture is widely used to produce clones of plant in a method known as micropropagation. Okay. Plant tissue culture techniques provides advantage over traditional methods of propagation. Now let us understand some of the terminologies. Tissue culture means the in vitro culture of the tissue. For example, callus culture. I told you already, in vitro means that is within the glass, that is inside the glass vessel or in the laboratory condition or in the artificial condition. Cell culture denotes the in vitro culture of single or a few cells. Organ culture, this term is used for in vitro culturing of organs like embryo, root, or shoot apex. Suspension culture can be defined as the culture of cells and cell aggregates suspended in a liquid medium. Okay, I've already told you about the explant. Let us repeat again here. Explant means the excised piece of differentiated tissue or the organ which is used for culture is known as explant. Okay, or the excised plant portion or bits of leaf, stem, root, or any young part of plant used to start tissue culture known as explants. You can give any part of the plant as an example for the explant. Then coming to the callus. What is callus? The undifferentiated mass of cells is referred to as callus. Okay, the cells of callus are meristematic in nature. Here I told you that any part of the plant you take, that will be able to give size to entire plantlet. Why? Because of the totipotency character. Okay. Plant tissue culture has a great significance in plant biotechnology. especially in the crop improvement programs. The term tissue culture may be defined as the process of in vitro culture of explants in nutrient medium under aseptic conditions. Okay, tissue culture includes the term tissue culture as well as cell culture, organ culture, and suspension culture also. Plant tissue culture is fundamental to most aspects of biotechnology of plants. It is evident now that plant biotechnology is one of the most beneficial of all the sciences. The products of plant biotechnology are being transferred rapidly from laboratories to the fields, where those products will be utilized by forestry people, then agriculturists, then horticulturists, and many more. In plant tissue culture, small pieces of tissue named explants can be used to produce hundreds and thousands of plants in continuous process. A single explant, what we select for the plant tissue culture of 1 centimeter, that can be multiplied into several thousand plants in relatively short time period and space under controlled conditions, irrespective of the season and weather on a year-round basis. Okay. Further, endangered, threatened, and rare species have successfully been grown and conserved by micropropagation methodology. Okay. Commercial production of plants through micropropagation techniques has several advantages over traditional methods of propagation through seed cutting and grafting techniques. Okay, here you can see the plant structure. Okay, here you can check that what all the explant system that can be used for the plant tissue culture. Okay, when you see any plant, you can differentiate into two systems. One is the shoot system, another one is the root system. The shoot system consists of stems, leaves in which photosynthesis takes place. The root system anchors the plant and provides water and nutrients for the shoot system. Okay, from the root system, you can take the root part like root tip region, then that will be a root culture or root tip culture. Then you can take a stem region, we can say that as the stem culture. You can take the nodal regions, then that will be a nodal culture. You can take axillary bud region, you can say that as the axillary bud culture. You can take a portion of the leaf, then we can say leaf culture or leaf disc culture. Then you can take here the shoot tip region, then we can say that as the shoot tip culture. Like this, there are so many culture techniques are there. So this is the stem and this is the blade, then this is the leaf, petiole, and here this is the internode, this is the nodal region and this is the internode region. Okay, then here you can see the axillary bud, terminal bud or shoot tip region, and this is the branch. In this plant structure, any part of the plant you take, put that in the culture medium, that will be able to give success to your entire plantlet. Okay. Here you can see the flower. Even we have the flower culture. Okay. We have the flower culture. We have ovary culture. We have ovule culture. We have the anther culture. Okay. So when you look into this flower, you can see here the part of the flower like sepal, then receptacle, petal. This is the male sex organ, that is filament, anther. Together we can say stamen. Here in this female reproductive part, ovule, ovary, style, stigma. Together we can say this as carpel. Okay. Apart from all this flower culture, ovary, ovule culture, we also have seed culture. And even we have in vitro pollination, okay, in vitro fertilization that can be done under this plant tissue culture. Okay. Now let us go through here different collection of plant tissue cultures. We can do anther culture, flower culture, embryo culture, endosperm culture, pollen culture, protoplast culture. What is this protoplast? This protoplast is cell without the cell wall. It means it's a naked cell. Then pollen culture we have, then ovary culture, ovule culture, axillary bud culture, nodal culture, meristem culture, shoot tip culture, then root tip culture, callus culture, cell suspension culture, single cell culture. So in all this culture technique, whatever we are taking the explant, no, that explant will be compulsory. The meristematic tissues or meristematic cells where you could see the continuously dividing cells. So in the plant tissue culture condition, we are not taking fully matured plant region, okay? We are going to take the young region where meristematic cells must be there. For example, whatever the parts of the plant I showed here, no, when you take this kind of this root tip region or shoot tip region, axillary bud region, then nodal region, then leaf disc region, okay? So when you take all such region, no, there you can see the presence of meristematic continuously dividing cells can be seen. Whenever you take any part of the plant, that part of the plant will be able to regenerate into entire plantlet. Why? Because of totipotency characteristics. Okay. So here you can see in this slide, plant tissue culture mainly depends on totipotency. Okay, what is totipotency? It is the ability of plant cells to regenerate into whole plant. Okay, or you can also define this as the inherent capacities of plant cells, differentiation and cellular totipotency tend to regenerate into whole plantlet. Or in short, you can define this as genetic potential of a plant cell to produce entire plant. Okay, any one definition you can write in the exam. And another further here, plant tissue culture also depends on plasticity. Okay, what is plasticity? It is the ability of plants to alter their metabolism, growth, and development to best suit their environment. Okay, hope you understood this one. Now let us understand the success of the culture mainly depends on the explant selection. So in this slide, you are understanding what are the circumstances are responsible for the success of the plant tissue culture. Okay, in this plant tissue culture, the selection, the timing of excision and pre-treatment are important factors that determines the success of culture. Okay, the process of dissection and removal to culture these tissues or organs is called explantation. The in vitro culture of single or relatively small group of plant is known as cell culture. Okay, for example, even we can say that as suspension culture. Generally, any plant cells or tissues cultured on a nutrient medium with proper environmental condition divides into group of unorganized mass of simple parenchymatous cells. These undifferentiated and unorganized mass of tissue is known as callus. Okay. In this particular condition, before going through in detail about the callus and about the organ culture, let us go back again. The success of the culture mainly depends on what? Let me reinforce here. Explant selection. Okay. What kind of mother plant you have chosen, that is very, very important. That explant must be totally free from any kind of viral infection or any kind of the bacterial infection and fungal infection. And timing of excision and pre-treatment is also very, very important. Okay, once done, then the explants will be grown on the suitable nutrient medium. Okay, and further here, for successful plant tissue culture, it is best to proceed with an explant switch in undermined cells. For example, those from the cortex or meristem, because such cells are capable of rapid proliferation. Instead of choosing the very matured part of the plant system, better you need to use the very young meristem tissue region for the proper rapid proliferation in the tissue culture conditions. Okay. Once explants are chosen and pre-treatment is done, explants are usually placed on the surface of the solid culture medium, but are sometimes placed directly into a liquid medium when cell suspension cultures are desired. Okay. Here you could see some of the historical perspectives of the plant tissue culture. In the year 1902, Haberland for the first time attempted the in vitro culture of plant cell. Okay, and this Haberland is considered as father of tissue culture. In the year 1904, culture of embryogenic tissue of cruciferans was done. In the year 1922, in vitro culturing of roots. 1925, zygotic embryo culture in Linum was observed. Again, in the 1934, culture of roots of tomato plant was done. Then in the year 1939, successful establishment of indefinite callus culture was done. In the year 1941, culture of crown gall tissues was done. Then in the year 1945, culture of cultures from stem tip was done. Nowadays, we say it as the shoot tip culture. In the 1955, hormone kinetin was discovered. Okay, 1957, Skog and Miller discovered that auxin and cytokinin ratio regulates the organ formation, that is organogenesis. In the year 1960, there was a development of a plating technique for isolation of single cell was done. Then in the year 1970, successfully established the protoplast fusion. Then in the year 1970, Maheshwari and Guha, who explained the concept of successful anther culture. Then in the year 1971, plants regenerated from protoplasts. In the year 1974, biotransformation in plant tissue culture was observed. Again, in the year 1978, production of somatic hybrids in tomato was observed. So this is about the historical perspectives of the plant tissue culture. Okay. Further, here, when we go through the basic historical development of the tissue culture, the idea of growing isolated plant cells, a tissue was started by Weinting and Rager in the year 1893 actually, okay? And before that also, the cell theory was explained, okay? The science of plant tissue culture takes its roots from discovery of the cell followed by profounding of cell theory. That is in the year 1838, Sleeden and Swan proposed that cell is the basic structural unit of all living organisms. They visualized that cell is capable of autonomy and therefore it should be possible for each cell, if given an environment, to generate into whole plant. Okay, this made them to think about the cell culture, tissue culture, and then about the organ culture. And they were also having the knowledge about the totipotency characteristics. That is, totipotency is the potential or inherent capacity of the plant cell to develop into complete plant. All cells of an organism having the ability to show the totipotency characteristics. Okay, this was observed by a German physiologist, Gottlieb Haberland. For the first time, he attempted to culture isolated single palisade cells from leaves in Knopf salt solution enriched with sucrose. Okay, that time the cells remained alive for up to 1 month, and also that showed the increased in size, accumulated starch, but failed to divide. Though he was unsuccessful, but laid down the foundation of tissue culture technology for which he was regarded as the father of plant tissue culture or father of tissue culture. Okay, in plant cell culture, plant tissues and organs are grown in vitro on artificial media under aseptic controlled environment, right? The technique depends mainly on the concept of totipotentiality of plant cells, which refers to the ability of a single cell to express the full genome by cell division. Along with the totipotent potential of the plant cell, the capacity of the cells to alter their metabolism, growth, and development is also equally important and which is very crucial to regenerate the entire plantlet, right? I have already discussed about in the previous slide. Now let us understand a standard tissue culture laboratory should provide some facilities. Okay, what are those facilities? Those facilities, like in the laboratory, there must be a wash area, okay, then media preparation room, then culture transfer room, then culture room, then there must be a greenhouse or net house. Okay, when we take here the washing area, wash area for washing and storage of glasswares, plasticware and other labwares. Okay, then we need here media preparation room. Okay, this is for the preparation of the media, sterilization of the media and storage of nutrient media, and also pre-treatment of explant will be done in the media preparation room. Then here culture transfer room. This culture transfer room, that is for the aseptic manipulation of the plant material in laminar airflow. Okay, in the culture transfer room where explants will be sliced and inoculated onto the nutrient medium. Then here you can see the culture room for maintenance of cultures under controlled conditions of temperature, light, and if possible, humidity. Then here greenhouse condition or net house. This greenhouse for hardening and acclimatization of in vitro developed plants. It's an optional condition. Okay. In this particular case, we can use here the glass rooms also can be used here. Greenhouse condition, net house or glass house can be used over here. Okay. Or even you can use here polyethylene films or sheets of polycarbonate or acrylic can also be used over here. Okay. Then coming to the consumables like glasswares, that may be Durand bottles or test tubes or glass cylinders, beakers, Erlenmeyer flasks, surgical blades or blade holder, or maybe a forceps, okay, and different pipettes of different microliter. All those comes under the consumables. Okay, here you can see these are the wide mouth culture bottles. Okay, where explants were inoculated and has given a good growth. And here you can see test tube. Okay, tissue culture. Specifically for tissue culture, we have a separate test tubes with the screw caps. Okay, then here you can see this is the callus. Okay, callus, which is the undifferentiated mass of unorganized parenchymatous tissues or cells, right? So this is the callus. From the callus, we can regenerate into an entire plantlet. Okay, this piece, which is a small piece, will be taken from the callus and further that will be subjected to the root regeneration and the shoot regeneration. Okay, then here also at the different stages, the callus regeneration photograph was taken here. Again, this is the callus. Here you cannot make out which is the shoot system, which is the root system. So we can say this as the unorganized. There is no proper organogenesis has happened here. So unorganized mass of parenchymatous cells we are going to say. Here you can see after the plant tissue culture, the tissue cultured explants were washed thoroughly and transferred to the greenhouse condition. Okay, in the greenhouse condition, in very small pots with the coca pit, okay, that will be grown, and once they attain the stability in the greenhouse condition under the control temperature, then that will be transferred to the field from lab to the land. Okay, I told you already about this greenhouse condition, right? I'm sorry. A greenhouse or a net house is required only in such cases where the in vitro regenerated plants are transferred from lab to land. Okay, in the initial phases of establishment of culture, this particular greenhouse is not required. Okay, here in vitro derived plants need to be gradually hardened to feed conditions. Okay, plant hardening is usually carried out under greenhouse that ensures high survival of the tissue cultured plants in the field. Once they showed the survival case in the greenhouse condition, then that will be transferred to the field and that will be removed from this net shade. Okay. Greenhouse can be of net, glass, or polyethylene films, or even the shades of polycarbonate or acrylic can also be used. Okay. In this greenhouse condition, we need to provide the appropriate light as standing, and blackout system can be achieved with supplementary lighting, and if required, drip irrigation system, misting and fogging can also be installed if required. Okay, so this is all about the greenhouse condition. And here I'm giving one example of direct organogenesis and indirect organogenesis. So this is the mother plant. From this mother plant, any part of the plant you can take. Here I've taken one example. Anther I have taken from this particular flower. I've excised the anther from the flower bud condition, and I have inoculated the anther in the tissue culture condition, in the tissue cultured plate. Okay, so anthers, once I culture this anther on the nutrient medium, that will be further transferred to the another nutrient medium for the organogenesis. Okay, from this anther, directly that anther further produced for the production of embryoid. From the embryo, we are going to get the stem, means that will be known as the direct organogenesis. Sometimes the explants are subjected for the formation of the callus formation. The process is callogenesis. From this piece of the bits of this callus, we can further transfer this callus into other medium containing the shooting medium. Okay, and from the callus we can go for shoot regeneration. Okay, that is known as indirect organogenesis. Indirect organogenesis, directly from the explant, shooting or rooting will be done. Whereas in the indirect organogenesis, first the explants will be subjected to the callus formation. Then from the callus, we can go for the shoot regeneration or maybe a root regeneration. Okay, as this anther is a part of reproductive organ, from this particular anther, we can obtain the haploid plantlets. Okay, hope you understood here. Direct organogenesis, okay, shoot formation or root formation. Whereas indirect organogenesis, first callus formation, then shoot regeneration. Okay. Here you can see this is the aseptic chamber. Okay, in this laminar airflow, here you can see the technician is doing the pre-treatment of the explant. Here you can see the inoculation of the explant, and this is the partition. Okay, to avoid or minimize the contamination during the inoculation of the explant. Always the opening of the bottle will be done under the influence of this particular flame. Okay, in front of the flame only, all the opening of the culture bottles will be done. Here you can observe here, when you take any part of the plant, that will be able to regenerate into root region and the shoot regeneration. Okay, here you can see root regeneration, and here you can see the shoot regeneration. As cultures grow, pieces are typically sliced and transferred to new media that is known as subculture to allow further for their growth and to alter morphology of the culture. I'm using here the new terminology, subculture. Subculture means when you inoculate the beginning explant, that explant will regenerate and that will utilize all the chemicals which are present in the nutrient medium. Once the chemicals are exhausted, then that time that explant will be transferred into the another fresh nutrient medium for the further regeneration. Okay, that is known as the subculture. Then now let us understand here what are the basic requirements for a tissue culture laboratory. In a laboratory, we must find over there specific appropriate equipment and apparatus, washing and storage facilities, compulsory, then media preparation room, sterilization room, aseptic chamber for culture, culture rooms or incubators are fully equipped with temperature, light and humidity control devices. And also there must be, one should also have the proper recording of that particular regeneration of the explant. So the Technician compulsory should go for the observation. Okay, observation or recording area with well equipped with computer for data processing. So these are some of the basic requirements for a tissue culture laboratory. Plants are grown by using seeds as the source material. Okay, that was the major source in traditional condition. Even cutting of twigs, birds, or other organs such as bulbs, etc., used for growing the vegetative multiplying plants. Okay, but nowadays it is possible to obtain an entire plantlet from any fragment or even from a single cell of a designed plant in laboratory by employing aseptic culture method, right? The technique of growing plants under aseptic conditions is commonly known as plant tissue culture. Aseptic culture involves the growing plant tissues in glass container, such as we can grow these plant cells, tissues, organs in the test tubes or even in the conical flask, or even by using the wide mouth culture bottles by providing all the required nutrients and growth regulators in proper proportions in sterile conditions. Okay, sterile condition and the suitable nutrient medium on which the plant will grow, and that gives the success rate of the plant tissue culture. Now let us understand the plant tissue culture technique. Okay, in this plant tissue culture technique, there are 4 main stages are involved. First one is initiation of culture, that is maintenance of aseptic conditions. B, that is multiplication or subculture stage. Whereas in this case, after 2 to 3 weeks, the explants show visible growth by forming either callus or differentiated organs like shoots, roots, or complete plant, depending upon the composition of the nutrient medium. If you have the nutrient medium which is responsible for the formation of the callus or callogenesis, then callus will be regenerated. Okay, if you have put the hormones which are responsible for the organogenesis, then there will be a formation of the organs can be seen. Once multiplication happen and plant explants have regenerated thoroughly, then to continue further growth and development, that fully grown explants will be transferred into the new fresh culture media. Okay, so there we are performing the subculture technique. Next, development and differentiation of subculture stage can be answered here. The subcultured callus is now induced to proceed for further development, and finally differentiations can be seen. If the concentration of phytohormones in the medium are altered, then the callus can be induced to differentiate, or any explant whatever you have kept, no, that will be further show the development and differentiation of that particular subcultured explants can be seen. Then the 4th stage here, from test tube to field. In the last stage, we are going to follow this particular tissue greenhouse condition. Here, full grown plants are obtained from the culture room, and the test tube rooted plantlets are first subjected to acclimatization so that they can adjust later in the field condition and then transfer to the field condition. There we observed about the lab to land. Here I'm sharing some of the important questions. Okay, what is totipotency? We already discussed this one. You can give this answer. The potential or ability of a plant cell to regenerate into a complete plantlet is known as totipotency. And also you can see inherent capacity of plant cell to develop into a complete plantlet. Then what are growth regulators? Growth regulators are hormones which influence the growth and development produced naturally by the plants. What are the explants used to produce haploid plants? What are the explants used to haploid production? You can use reproductive part of the region of the plant flower like ovules, ovary, anthers, or pollen grains, because they have the single set of chromosomes. Then what is dedifferentiation? The change of differentiated plant cell into meristematic cells, known as dedifferentiation. Okay. Then what do you mean by explants? the part of the plant used for culturing in vitro known as explant. Okay, why these? Any part of the plant are able to regenerate into entire plantlet because of the totipotency characteristics. Then you can define callus here as a mass of disorganized, unorganized, or undeveloped parenchymatous simple cells on the solid medium in tissue culture known as callus. Callus can be induced to redifferentiate on an appropriate medium to develop embryoids, which directly develops into the plantlets and eventually gives rise to a whole plantlet. Okay, I hope you understood a little bit information about this introduction to plant biotechnology. Hi, Dr. Pratibha KS, signing off for the day. I'll be back with some more videos. Stay tuned with me. Okay, and thank you for watching this video.